Hi colleagues, welcome to MathYard, where we do all things computational. Alright, we have a question on the screen relating to break-even analysis and profit targeting. Alright, so we are going to deal with that, and we'll have some explanations as we go in the solving of the question. So we have Mwambwaz Agribusiness in Mkushi plans to introduce a new soybeans processing line. Fixed costs are 1.2 million annually, variable costs are 85 per bag, and each bag sells for 220. Calculate the accounting break-even point in units and in Kwacha. Alright, so here they want us to calculate or to determine the break-even point both in units and in Kwacha. So what is break-even? Break-even point is that it's a point at which we are neither making profit nor losses. Alright, it's a point at which a business engages in business where they are not making profit or losses. Alright, at that particular point is what break-even is. Alright, we are going to go ahead and actually solve. We know that there is a formula for break-even point, isn't it? So I am going to denote break-even by BE is equal to fixed cost divided by, so either you can use contribution, or you know that what composes contribution is selling price minus your variable costs. And that right? Alright, that's your formula. So in this case, we've been given that our fixed costs, right, are 1,200,000 divided by, we know we've been given the selling price to be, as per the question, the selling price is 220, while the variable cost is 80. So we are going to say 220 minus 85, right? So we're going to have 1.2 million divided by 135. Alright, and what do we get from there? 8888.88. Alright, so we know that we can round that off to 8889 units. So these are units. Alright, so if we want then to find the break even, alright, this is equal to break even in units. If we want to find the break even in Kwachas, in amount, alright, we know that we will just get that particular number of units multiplied by the selling price, which is 220. Alright, what would we have if we were to multiply that by 220? Alright, we are going to have 1955556. Okay, so this is in Kwacha, while the other one is in units. Alright, so we have found the first question. The second question goes as, or reads as, if the company targets a profit of 800,000, how many bags must be sold? Alright, you've been given a profit of 800,000 and they want us to find how many bags must be sold to meet that particular target. Okay, how do we handle that one? The question is, how do we handle profit? Right? How do we calculate profit? We know that profit is equal to selling price minus total cost. Isn't it? Now, we know that total cost is composed of fixed cost and variable cost. So we have the selling price. We are breaking them down. We want to determine the formula. Is minus, you know that we have fixed cost plus variable, which I'm going to denote by VE, right? I mean variable cost, VC. Alright. Now, fixed costs are given for all units, regardless of the units you produce. The fixed costs are fixed, right? Alright. So in this case, we've been told that 800,000, alright, 800,000 is a profit. But we do not know what the actual units are that are giving this profit. So if we say, let the number of units that give this profit be equal to X, alright, so you know therefore that the selling price, you know that the selling price is 220, right? But how many units are you going to sell in order to give you this profit? We're going to say X. So 220 multiplied by the number of should be equal to, or I mean minus, right? We are trying to less fixed cost, which we are already given as 1,200,000. Okay, plus costs. These are variable costs, right? VE, sorry, here VE, right? Variable costs. So variable costs, we already been given that is 85, right? The variable costs are running at 85. Now 85 is per unit, but what about the units that will give us the 800,000? So that is our X, right? We need to find that X now. So basically, when we do this, we know for sure that we have 220x minus 1.2 thousand or million kwacha minus, since negative multiply with this negative, and I have gotten rid of the sign, I mean the brackets. So that will be minus 85x. Alright. Now, being where we are at, this is 800,000. Let's not forget it. Alright, being where we are, we can group the like terms, isn't it? We can group the like terms. So this negative 1,200,000 can cross over the equal sign. So you are then going to have 800,000 plus 1.2 million should be equal to 220x minus 85x. So we have grouped the like terms here. Alright, after grouping the like terms, we say equal to, what is 220 minus 85? That will give us 135x. Then this one, that is 800,000 plus 1,200,000. So when you add that, you are getting 2 million, isn't it? Exactly. Alright, but we want the value of X, the quantity. Alright, the quantity, then we're going to divide both sides by that particular 130. So we know that to cancel out. X is therefore then going to be, so X is going to be 14,814.81. So therefore, X is going to be 14,815. What am I doing now? So we are saying that the answer is 14,815. 815. So let me just erase that. 800. So 14,815. Okay, excellent. So that is those are the units that give us that particular profit of 800,000. Alright. So then you realize that in simple terms, if you do not want to go that route, you just go direct, as in profit is equal to fixed assets or fixed cost plus target profit divided by selling price minus variable cost. Alright, so we already know that we have 1,200,000 as our fixed cost plus 800,000 our profits, our target profits, divided by 220 minus how much? Minus 85. So already we know that when we reach this point, we are already having what we had on the other side. $135. And so that will give us the same 14,815. 14,815. Alright, so you see that either way the answer is the same. But then I carried you through the first stage method in order for us to get acquainted with the process. Right. Then what are the limitations? The limitations are that you always have a constant amount, which is not supposed to be the case. Why do you have the same cost? So if it's fixed cost, the costs are constant, which is actually a different case in the real world. Okay, it is usually a different case in the real world. Second reason is that it also ignores time value of money. All right, this particular method or way of calculating ignores time value of money. All right, then it also ignores risks and uncertainty. All right, it just assumes that you go direct with there's no risk, there's no uncertainty. So like the 800,000 profit, it's a must because we are making an assumption that that is what we are actually going to get. All right, so without risk and without uncertainty, we carry on our duty. All right, so that was a brief aspect about break even and target profit or profit target. All right, see you in the next class. Thank you.